if you want to have great ideas, you got to work your idea muscle. And so many people, they said, where do you get your ideas? It's like, well, I'm working my idea muscle every single day. So I realized for us that if we wanted to really innovate and do things differently to get people excited about coming to games, we had to have new ideas. We had to be refreshed. We had to continue to do new things. My fear is I don't want to become the Globetrotters and do the same skits every single day. Here comes the confetti. Here comes the slow motion. Here comes this. And so I was like, all right, we need to come up with new ideas. So yeah, I started in 2018, and it was a struggle. I would say, all right, what are new promotion ideas? What are new merchandise ideas? And then it wasn't until probably 2020 that I started making buckets, very specific buckets. Like today's idea session was, what could players do in between pitches in the batter's box? So literally in between pitches in the batter's box. We've always had hitting entrances, scoring celebrations, double celebrations, strikeout moves. So that's the session we do. So every day it's something very unique, themed out. Senior citizen promotions. What are mom and daughter promotions, daddy-daughter promotions? And that helps me get really narrow and deep. And now we've built it with our team. So, 15, 20,000 ideas later that I can come up with ideas pretty quickly. They're not all great. A lot of them are really bad, but quantity leads to quality.
Hey, this is a quick shout out from one of our awesome sponsors. Check this out. Thank you to Tracy down at Tranquil Turtle Massage in downtown Coeur D'Alene. Look, my wife and I, we see Tracy and her team every single month for couples massage, and it is the best thing. Tracy is a master massage specialist and a Hanu Ashiatsu trainer. You need to reach out to Tracy and her team. Make sure that you tell them that I sent you, and you'll get $25 off your next massage. Also, while you're there, check out CDA Brows, Body, and Ink. Make sure to tell Tracy that I sent you, and you'll save $100 on your next tattoo, brows, and plasma tightening services. Jesse, you're the owner of the Savannah Bananas. You're an author, keynote speaker. You're the former bat boy of the Boston Red Sox, and so much more, man. Thank you for your time.
Well, excited to be here, and glad you brought up the bat boy, which was for one game. I didn't do the job that well as a 5-year-old, but it's something I'll never forget.
Come on, man. That's such a cool experience there. I like to kick things off by going back a bit. Like, where did you grow up, and what was childhood like for you?
Yeah, I was an only child. My parents got divorced when I was young. I grew up in Scituate, Massachusetts, a little small town, less than 7,000 people. And yeah, my life was dedicated to baseball. My dad actually ended up buying an indoor baseball facility, becoming a part owner there. And I just played ball all the time. That's what I loved doing. And that was the one bond me and my dad had. We'd play every day after school. And yeah, that's where I really developed the love of the game.
Come on, man. That's so cool, dude. I grew up a big fan of Nolan Ryan. Still to this day, it's the only baseball cards I have left. Who was that player that you looked up to, or did you have a favorite player as a kid?
Yeah, it was obviously Red Sox centric. I was a Mo Vaughn fan, with all the home runs, and then a little later Pedro Martinez as he joined. But yeah, it was always Red Sox guys. I got to go $5 bleacher tickets with my dad and got to see a lot of games.
Come on, man. So cool, dude. I know you're a big fan of P.T. Barnum and Walt Disney and Bill Veeck. What is it about those three people that really grabbed your attention?
Well, none of that really came. Obviously, I was aware of Walt Disney as a kid. I was fortunate to go to Disney World a few times and experience some of the magic. But the Walt and PT and Bill Veeck really didn't come a big part of my life until I started joining a team at 23 years old as a general manager professionally. So I was a GM at 23 of a team that there was only $268 in the bank account and only a couple hundred fans coming to the games. And when I took that job, I couldn't pay myself for 3.5 months. And so what I did was I started reading just about P.T. Barnum, Walt Disney, and Bill Veeck, some of the greatest innovators, people with vision, promotion skills, showmanship, and tried to learn on what could I do to get people to come out to the ballpark, and what would P.T. Barnum do? What would Walt Disney do? What would Bill Veeck do? And so, yeah, I read every book literally and learned so much and tried new attention-getting things like, we did grandma beauty pageants and dig to China nights and pregnant nights and flatulence fun nights and salute to underwear nights. And a lot of them didn't work, but that's what P.T. Barnum would have done. At least that's what I thought at 23 years old. And then Walt Disney just tried to think differently with vision, and Bill Veeck be all about the fans and try to combine that and start testing the experiment. And that's really where it started for me.
It's so fun to be part of a baseball team. I worked for a minor league single A team for 2 years in their ticket office, and to see the struggles that players and the GMs go through, and then the wins come, man. And it's so cool to just see the fans interacting. I love what you got going on, man.
Well, thank you. And yeah, there's a lot to learn in minor league baseball because, you're not the highest level of baseball. You got to compete to get people to come out to the ballpark every single night. What are you going to do to get them out? And yeah, I learned so much from watching what minor league teams did well, what minor league teams didn't do well, and try to figure out how do we play a different game than everyone else, because everyone's playing, here come the fireworks, here comes this promotion, here comes, ladies night, 80s night, you name it, they tried it. And I was like, we got to figure out something different. And that's really where the Savannah Bananas came along and going all in on developing our own IP and our own unique experience. So there was no comparison between other minor league teams.
Yeah, man. Now I watched the Banana Land show on TV, and you had mentioned, or your wife had mentioned, that you're the dreamer, and she's kind of like the refiner, the realistic one. This is very similar to my situation, where my wife is that for me, and I'm the kind of that dreamer. She has to pull me down on the kite sometimes, But running a business and a family can be super difficult. Like, how do you separate business time and family time, or does it all tend to mesh together?
I think, work family balance. I think it all does come together. I mean, again, it's what me and Emily attracted each other. We had this big dreams and visions, and we saw what could happen in minor league baseball, but what we could do differently. And we met in minor league baseball. I mean, I was working for the team in Gastonia, and she was working for Ripken baseball. They had a few teams, and that's what connected us. So that's how we got together. And then when it was just me and her running a team together, there were challenges because we would run into each other's worlds so many. And once we really got focused on what we do best, I'm very focused on the promotion, the show, the ideas, the entertainment, the marketing. She's very focused on the people, how to make sure we hire the right people, take care of the right people, all of that. And when we separated, it became unbelievable how well we could work together because she's the best at what she does. I try to be the best at what I do. And now we really just complement each other as opposed to jumping each other's world. So we've worked, find that balance. And, I think that's with everything. Find what gives you energy. Find what you can be the best at. Don't try to do everything. We always, in the beginning, try to do everything. And that's where I got burnt out. I got really tired and struggled. And now I have more energy than I've ever had. And, theoretically, people on the outside say you're working harder. It's like, no, I'm just doing what I love and what gives me energy.
Yeah. Oh man, so good, dude. And I love that you talked about, like, you have this idea book that you started back in 2015. Tell me about this thing, man.
Well, I think, I started running about 8 years ago, and, I was 225-pound baseball player, big guy. And I needed something to keep my body going. So I started running, and, it was really tough for me in the beginning, just getting back going. Cause baseball player is not known for long distance running. So I started getting in. And once I started doing every day, I'd do 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles. I just started working my, muscles to become a good runner. And I became, now I can run 6, 7, 8 miles, no big deal, at a very fast pace because I've been doing it for so long. I have the muscles and the capability to do it. And so I look at that, and the same thing as working out with ideas. If you want to have great ideas, you got to work your idea muscle. And so many people, they say, where do you get your ideas? It's like, well, I'm working my idea muscle every single day. So I realized for us that if we wanted to really innovate and do things differently to get people excited about coming to games, we had to have new ideas. We had to be refreshed. We had to continue to do new things. My fear is I don't want to become the Globetrotters and do the same skits every single day. Here comes the confetti. Here comes the slow motion. Here comes this. And so I was like, all right, we need to come up with new ideas. So I started in 2018, and it was struggle. I would say, all right, what are new promotion ideas? What are new merchandise ideas? And then it wasn't until probably 2020 that I started making buckets, very specific buckets. Like today's idea session was what could players do in between pitches in the batter's box? So literally in between pitches in the batter's box. We've always had hitting entrances, scoring celebrations, double celebrations, strikeout moves. So that's the session we do. So every day it's something very unique, themed out. Senior citizen promotions. What are mom and daughter promotions, daddy-daughter promotions? And that helps me get really narrow and deep. And now we've built it with our team. So, 15, 20,000 ideas later that I can come up with ideas pretty quickly. They're not all great. A lot of them are really bad, but quantity leads to quality.
Yes. Oh, so good, man. For those who don't know, maybe they're living under a rock, but what is the Savannah Bananas? What's the mission that you guys have?
Well, when we first came to Savannah, our mission was just to keep baseball going. In Savannah, Georgia, the team started in 1926. There were teams and they failed and failed. Minor league teams left and right, just gone. Lowest in the country in attendance, failing. And so when me and Emily went there on a trip and we watched the minor league team, the New York Mets affiliate, have less than 200 fans in the stadium on a beautiful night, we're like, where is everybody? So they left. They wanted a $40 million stadium. The city said no. We convinced them to let us come. And we showed up, and the former team cut the phone lines, cut the internet lines. They took everything out of the ballpark. There was nothing left. So we got a picnic table brought into an abandoned storage building. Myself, my wife, Emily, our 24-year-old team president, and 3 22-year-olds straight out of college. And so our goal was just, hey, could we keep baseball going? Could we sell out a few games, create some excitement? And then after immediate failure, selling only 2 tickets in our first 3 months, and Emily and I having to sell our house, empty out our savings account, and sleeping on an airbed and grocery shopping with just $30 a week, we knew we had to go much bigger. And so we went all in on the experience. And our goal was very simple. We named the company Fans First Entertainment. We're going to be the most fans first, best entertainment company that we could be for our fans. And so we went all in on that to make baseball fun. And lo and behold, they came out that first night, saw things they never saw before, and players delivering roses to little girls during the crowd. And dancing on the dugouts and the banana baby and the banana pep band and our break dancing coach. And fans said, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And lo and behold, since that point and the struggle, they've told everyone, and we've sold out every game. And now we're doing the Banana Ball World Tour coast to coast. And the wait list this past week for tickets just passed over 650,000 all over the world, which is just crazy but most importantly, Emily and I are sleeping on a real bed. So we've really come full circle.
Yeah. At one point you guys were like $1.8 million in debt. What goes through your mind when you're looking at your bank account going, oh my gosh?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Totally.
Thanks for bringing up the misery again. No, that was a challenging time. Yeah, $1.8 million in debt, and literally it was $30 a week. We'd go to Walmart, and that's all we had for 42 meals. And
wow,
I think everyone says, "How did you do that?" There were no other options.
Yeah,
we had bought this team, we had a staff, we had a lease, we had to find a way. And I think that's one of the blessings in disguise. I mean, people sometimes they try to get investors and get an influx of money. Well, no, we found a way to do it. I think there's so much to be said about literally grinding and getting strategic. And I mean, we were living by that motto of outthink, don't outspend, because we didn't have any money. So we just had to, be more creative. And we still, to this day, I mean, we don't have a video board at our stadium. We don't have suites. We literally don't have sponsors at our ballpark. We do everything in a very unique way. And that's helped build our brand and who we are and what we stand for.
Yeah. You talked about this fans first, entertainment always. Why is that so important?
Well, I think the starting point for all innovation, the starting point of doing anything that's truly unique, you have to look at the friction points in any customer experience. So many people, they focus on their competitors. They don't focus necessarily put themselves in the customer's shoes. And so I was trying to think about myself, put myself in the fan's shoes, and going to a sporting event, especially a baseball game. You get your ticket fees, your service fees, your convenience fees, which are the most inconvenient fee ever. Then you pay your taxes, and a $40 ticket is $58.25. Then you come in, you got hit with parking, then you get nickel and dime, burgers, hot dogs, and then the game is slow, long, and often boring. So I was like, how do we make it the exact opposite? And so the fans first model was, all right, put yourself in the shoes. If the fan were to make that decision, would the fan want that? So we said, what would a fan want? And I said, well, why does a fan have to pull money out of their pocket? Couldn't it be an all-inclusive experience? All your burgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, soda, water, popcorn, dessert, everything. And when we started, $15. No ticket fees, no convenience fees, no service fees, and everything. And, could we just make it nonstop fun? Promotions, entertainment, music playing the whole game, not stopping, not those delays. And that's been the ethos of everything. So what we always ask, is it fans first? I mean, it's crazy that we're the only sports team in the world that pays fans taxes. So think about that. It's not only on tickets, but if you buy, when we play on the road, we can't do all inclusive because the stadium does the food and bev. But for us in Savannah, or if you buy merchandise, a $25 shirt is $25. If in Savannah you buy a beer that's $6, the beer is $6. It's not $6.85, and that's millions of dollars. But to us, it's fans first. I want the transparency. When you're buying something online, which we have free shipping, all that, you buy a $30 hat, it's $30. And so it's just part of that model. And we believe in creating long-term fans over short-term profits. And we will always throw away short-term profits to create long-term fans.
Best way to run a business, man. I mean, your website is killer.
Not at first, though, Erik. I'll tell you, not at first. It's very hard. Very hard. But yes, eventually it comes through.
Absolutely. I mean, your website is killer. I got my hat super fast, and I love the transparency on there. Free shipping, like you mentioned. Oh, man. Now, I want to kind of go back to your world tour, because you guys did this massive tour here in 2023. What's it look like for the rest of this year and heading into 2024?
Well, again, remember where everything starts, and everything we believe in small bets and experimenting. So just 2 years ago, we did a one city world tour. Yeah. So literally a one city world tour, and we went to Mobile, Alabama, and that proved the concept of Banana Ball, our new game, which again, fighting friction, 2-hour time limit, no stepping out of the box, no bunting, batters can steal first. If fans catch a foul ball, it's an out. That was tested on the one city world tour. Went to 7 cities last year. Those all sold out. And then so this year we said, all right, let's push it. Let's go coast to coast. So we did 33 cities. And yeah, I mean, we just got back from Vegas, 20,000 fans 2 nights. In Tampa, 20,000 fans. Arizona, 25,000 fans. And everywhere we go, fans start lining up around 9 a.m. You get, by 2, 3 o'clock, 3, 4, 5,000 people, 3-4 hours before the games. And no one leaves. They stay till the end of the last pitch, no matter what. Even Tampa, there was tornado warnings, thunderstorms for 2 hours. We didn't start the game till about an hour and a half after original first pitch. And Nick Swisher's there and Andrew Miller, we're playing the Major League alumni, and they look around, they said, in all my years in the bigs, I've never seen anything like this. They literally stood through thunderstorms, but they wouldn't leave. And every seat was full by, 8:30 when we started the game. And so Yeah, it's been we've been learning a lot. We're going to do much bigger stadiums next year. We're hearing from major league stadiums and international tours, and we're really going to try to expand and bring the joy to more people. It's not about money; it's about bringing the joy to more people. And with 650,000 people that can't get tickets right now, we know we got some work to do.
Yeah, man, I love the mission. My family and I, we definitely want to get out to a game in the 2024 season and see you guys live. That would be huge. I want to talk about your new book. It just came out, Banana Ball, unbelievable story about the Savannah Bananas. This is your third book, I believe, and I just started it, and so far it's awesome. But I'm excited to get through the rest of it. But how did this book come together? What can readers expect as they go through this thing?
The book was about another small bet, and thank you. I appreciate the kind words. The book is our small bet. So I believe so many people in business, their marketing philosophy is to tell everybody what you do. My philosophy is to show people what we do instead of tell. And so what I realized last year on the first big tour, 7 cities, and with Erik Burns as our coach and a lot of craziness, I said, I want this captured in more ways than one. So I reached out to Don Yeager, 11-time New York Times bestselling author, and I said, Don, got an idea. I want this captured. I want this story to be shown, told in a way that's unique and different. So we reached out and a publisher said, yeah, we have to tell this. And they said, we want it different than unique. The other books, my other books really went on very business oriented. Find Your Yellow Tux was how to stand out. Fans First was basically how do we create fans, why I believe in that. And I was very uncomfortable with it because they wanted me to go into my childhood and how it all started, theater, and more of that storytelling, which I'm uncomfortable with because I don't know if it really matters at this point. I think it's more about, I wanted to tell more of the story about the people, but they pushed forward, and I'm proud of it. Obviously we don't look at sales, but I was told that it was in the top 50 in the world on Amazon, and it's still continuing to do well. So people hopefully are resonating with it. But the goal is to tell the behind the scenes story, to really show more of what went into this, what we're trying to create. But the reality is we know we're in the first chapter still. We're still in the first inning, even though it's a book, because we're just getting started.
Man, I'll tell you, I started writing my book earlier this year or late last year, and about 28,000 words in, and it's tough. Just on the first draft, I'm like, I know I'm going to have to rewrite this thing 7 or 8 times before it finally goes, but just having your third book out, and I'm so excited, like I said, to get in this book, and congratulations on the success, man. That's huge.
Thank you very much.
What are you most proud of when it comes to the Bananas?
Our people. I look around and it always comes back to the people. And there's moments that I have when I'm walking with the team and we come through. So every night, and we're big into the first impressions and last impressions, every night I learned this from Disney. Instead of just, hey, letting people in the gates, we do a big celebration. And we march with the players, the band, the male cheerleading team, the man-anas, the breakdancing coaches, our players and coach. And we march through the crowd to get up on stage and perform before we open the gates. And I remember in Arizona when there was 8,000 people 3 hours before the game, and just this past week at Vegas, 5,000 people. And you hear the players as they're yelling, and you could hear their voices cracking because they're emotional. To see thousands of people cheering for them, filming on their phone, and to see that these guys who, a lot of them, their baseball careers were over, they weren't playing anymore, to see this new dream come about. And, our dancing umpire, who we just saw a video clip that he was just doing regular umpiring in Texas, to now wherever he goes, people come up to him and want pictures and autographs, and to see the dreams of all these people that didn't even know they were dreams, to see them all coming true. It started with just as me as this dream to kind of create this banana ball. And now to see hundreds of people on our staff and our team and see their dreams coming true. Dakota Stilts, L. Britton, a guy who just played high school baseball, wasn't going to make the team, came up to me and said at tryouts, I got my stilts. Do you want me to wear them? I said, kind of. I'd rather want to see, can you hit in them? And he got it. He's like, I've never done that before. I go, great time to try. And he got in the batting cage and started hitting balls, and he made the team because of that. And now he's batting over 300 this year, and he's getting outs on the mound. He's now pitching. And every night after the game, there's hundreds of people lined up to meet Stilts. This kid from a small town in Georgia that didn't have anything else. He was pouring concrete, and to see his dream. And it's just that's what matters the most to me. I really love seeing that.
Yeah, man. What are you most excited about right now? What's coming up next for you and the Savannah Bananas?
Well, I think for us, I'm obsessed with trying to create the greatest show possible in sports. So, there's zooming out. and seeing the whole chessboard, as I say, versus
Yeah.
the next move. But I'm obsessed with the next move. After this call, we're going to go into an OTT meeting with our team and our creative team, and we'll talk over what are those over the top ideas, what are those crazy pitches, crazy celebrations, crazy hitting things in between pitches that we can do this upcoming week in Oklahoma City. And then we'll talk about what are we going to do in Nashville. And so every game, we do 10 to 15 things we've never done before in front of a live crowd. So at the end of this tour, we're going to do over 1,000 brand new things I've never had in a live crowd. That excites me. That excites me, and the joy that we get to do that. But then zooming out, top executives from the Japanese professional league have visited us. They want us to do a Japanese tour. We've been reached out to all different countries all over the world. Heard from 15 major league teams that want us to play at their stadiums with 40,000 people. All that really excites me. And then, building new teams, building new brands, and creating something that I believe could be one of the greatest games in the world. Because Banana Ball, yes, it's a show and it's a fun, but it is a great game. It's exciting. I'm watching my 5-year-old son. He literally mimics all the players. He acts like he goes, "Dad, that's a point. Dad, I got the point." He's talking banana ball terms, not runs like baseball. He's talking banana ball. I believe the game's going to take off, and I'm really excited for that as well.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited for what you guys got going on. How did the banana ball rules and the game come together?
Well, we looked at same thing with anything and how we come up with anything. We look at what are the friction points in the game? What are the most boring, slowest parts of the game? So, like, give me an example, like walks. Can you imagine in a sporting event, there's a play called a walk? Like, right. It's called a walk. And I was like, well, what's the opposite of a walk? And, he said, a sprint. He said, okay, all right, what would that look like? All right, ball forward, the hitter takes off full speed. What if the catcher had to throw the ball to every player before it was live? And it could be a double, it could be a triple, he could be thrown out at second. And that's how we developed the walk. Said, all right, what's a bad part of a game? Blowout. A team scores 7 runs in the first inning, the game's over. Well, what if we made every inning count for 1 point, like match play? So no matter what, it's a close game. That's pretty good. All right, batters stepping out of the box. Oh, so boring. What if we eliminated that? Mound visits. Oh, they're just a drag on the game. What if we eliminated that? And so we just started looking at all those boring parts. Oh, foul balls. Those are fun, but what if it actually counted as an out and a fan caught it as an out? That would be amazing. And so now we just that. And so it was a series of iterations and just looking at the game as a fan and saying, if you had a blank canvas and you could eliminate all the boring parts and make the boring parts more fun, what would you do? And that's kind of how we created it.
So good, dude. So good. Just a few more questions for you. What is the greatest lesson that you've learned through this entrepreneurial journey and building this team together and kind of running the family at the same time? Like, what's the biggest journey you've learned or biggest lesson you've learned, I guess?
That's a tough question for me because there's a lot, like right now in the middle of the tour. And, we just traveled with 130 people to Vegas, and it's becoming very big. I think the most important thing that I'm stressing, not necessarily the lesson, is to understand where we came from and where we started and what built this company into what it is. And that is fans first. The lesson, the thing that scares me is that as we continue to hire new full-time people every single week, and, we just bought a 20,000 square foot office, we're buying more land, and just it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that we lose who we are and the fact that we came through and no one wanted to buy a ticket. No one believed in us. And we fought because we had to make ourselves believe first and then get everyone else to believe. And I think that's why every single weekend when we go to a city, we open by sharing fans first stories, moments that happened that players did or staff did for one fan, one little girl, one little boy, and that made a difference. And because fans first is going to keep our culture who we are, keep us growing. And that's the lesson, is that amidst growth, you got to bring it back to your why and the purpose behind your business. And it can't have anything to do with money. It can't have anything to do with growth. It has to do with human to human relationships. And that's the lesson that I want to keep kind of bringing forth to our team every single day. What are the fans first moments we're creating today? And if we keep doing that, I think amidst all the growth, we're going to stay grounded and keep making an impact.
Come on, man. So amazing. I love to finish the show with a fun question. I'm a big music guy. So what's a favorite band for you, or do you have a favorite type of music you like to listen to?
Oh yeah. I grew up, so my dad was in a band. He traveled actually the country as part of a band. He was, he opened for bands. He opened for like Poco, and like it was a big, his name was, that band was Zachariah. And so he got me into music, as a young, like really good listening to music, like the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and Boston. He got me listening to musicianship, like real music. So when I was in middle school, I heard Dave Matthews Band for the first time. And I was like, oh, all right. You got some saxophone, you got the violin. Boy, the drummer's unbelievable. I got into the music and I got really into them. And I was a junior in college. And all of a sudden, we're getting ready to go to the Citadel. And there's a memo up in our locker room and says, Dave Matthews Band is shooting their American Baby video at Citadel this week. And the Wofford baseball players have a chance to be in it. I was like, you kidding me? I get to be in a Dave Matthews music video? So all of a sudden, we're getting to play there. And I'm in the front of the bus. I never sat in the front of the bus. I was like, if they're filming when we get out, I'm going to be in this. And got out. And they had us film the national anthem. I got right where the cameras were. And they had me do close-ups of my face, literally in a Dave Matthews Band music video, American Baby. And it was amazing. It debuted on VH1, MTV. I was front on there, Dave Matthews music video. And then the next day I heard from the NCAA that I was deemed ineligible for the rest of the season because I was, quote unquote, endorsing Dave Matthews Band. So Dave Matthews had to take me out of the music video. But what was so cool is I got a letter from the band. They thanked me. They sent me DVD copies of the original. And since that point, I'm still a big Dave Matthews fan. But that's a story not many people know. But now even our pep band, they cover Ants Marching. And the saxophone in the pep band goes against the trumpet. And they start going back and forth. And you'll see me with the fans at the game. I'm just like jamming with them. I'm just jamming with the band. And so I'm a jam band. Anything that brings the great musicianship, that's what I love.
I love it, man. Dude, Jesse, you're an absolute world changer. Thank you so much for your time today, man, and sharing your story. I'm so excited for what you and the Savannah Bananas are doing. You are absolutely changing the world, changing the game, man. Thank you for your time.
Well, thanks for your enthusiasm and energy, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I really appreciate it. I hope that my guest was able to bring you some amazing wisdom and knowledge to help you continue to fight for your goals, your dreams, and your purpose. If you could do me one big favor and just hit that subscribe button, I would so appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Keep changing the world. I believe in you. Have an amazing day.